Content warning. This story contains occult themes and disturbing imagery. Viewer discretion is advised. It is not suitable for children or the easily disturbed. Thank you in advance for listening. The Unwrapping Party. Look, I know how this is going to sound. I really do. But when you're a venture capitalist with too much disposable income and not enough common sense, curiosity turns into bad decisions fast. That's how I ended up buying a supposedly real Egyptian mummy off the dark web at 3 a.m, half drunk and fully convinced I was invincible. The seller was evasive but confident, claimed it was the genuine remains of a 15th dynasty princess named Charity, included grainy photos, a shaky provenance, and just enough historical jargon to feel convincing. The price? $12,000. Honestly, I'd spend more on furniture I barely liked. This, at least, came with a story. And stories are meant to be shared. So, I threw an unwrapping party at my Manhattan penthouse. I leaned hard into the aesthetics, candles everywhere, low lighting, frankincense, and mirth burning in shallow brass dishes. I even curated a playlist. Low, slow, ominous instrumental stuff that made everyone feel like they were a part of something forbidden and important. The sarcophagus sat lengthwise on my living room table, displacing weeks of mail and one unfortunate houseplant. My guests filtered in, a mix of history nerds, thrill seekers, and friends who just wanted to whine and gossip with a side of morbidity. Phones were out, taking selfies for Instagram. "All right," I said, smiling like this was a totally normal thing to do on a Friday night. "If anyone here believes in ancient curses, this is your last chance to back out." That got a couple nervous laughs. I wedged the crowbar into the seam of the lid. The old wood groaned, then gave with a crack. The smell that wafted out was dry and dusty, and everyone leaned in. Inside, she lay there, a tightly wrapped, slender form, the linen bandages stained a deep ember with resins. There was a crude, stylized cartoonage mask placed over her face. The gilt flaked away to reveal a gray plaster beneath. The painted eyes, black and oversized, stared blankly at my ceiling. Then, with exaggerated ceremony, I took a pair of scissors and made the first cut. The linen parted easily. Too easily, maybe, but I ignored that. I peeled back layers slowly, narrating like a David Attenborough. Someone, probably Mark, who once ate a live goldfish on a bet, shouted, "Hey, Rhett, I dare you to eat a piece." A chorus of "Oh my God!" and laughter followed. I snipped a small, brittle scrap of linen from the inner layer near the foot. "To your health, princess," I said and popped it in my mouth. It tasted like moldy paper and stale spices. It turned into a gritty paste on my tongue. I forced it down with a swig of Cabernet as everyone cheered and gagged. A few layers in, the mood shifted. The linen smelled... It smelled wrong. Not dusty or dry, but faintly chemical in places, like a thrift store or a hospital hallway. The texture varied, some sections fragile, others oddly sturdy. "Does that look stitched to you?" Greg asked. He crouched closer, squinting. Greg had taken exactly one Egyptian class in college and never let anyone forget it. It tugged at the edge. "Yeah, that's machine stitching. No way this is ancient." I laughed too loudly. Maybe the ancient Egyptians were just really ahead of their time. No one laughed back. I kept going. I didn't want to admit it, but I felt it too. That creeping unease. The sense that we'd crossed from theatrical into something real and wrong. Beneath the outer wrappings, the body emerged. It wasn't desiccated. It wasn't skeletal. The skin was intact, pale, smooth, stretched tighter over bone. Preserved, sure, but not in the way I expected. It looked recent. Then I saw the wrist. Just above it, clear as day beneath the thinning linen, was a tattoo. Black ink, crisp lines, a skeletal figure in a marching band uniform, mid-step, carrying a baton. The room went quiet. What the hell? hell? My lawyer friend Lisa whispered. Is that my chemical romance? I stared at her. The band? She nodded slowly. Yeah, that's the Black Parade art. That album came in what, 2006? I blinked at her. Once, twice. 2006 BC? I asked, grasping desperately for dignity. She gave me a look, the kind you give to a grown adult who just asked if Wi-Fi existed in ancient Rome. No, she said. 2006 AD. I was in high school. I had that album on my iPod. My mouth went dry, but I didn't stop. I don't know why. Maybe shock, maybe denial, maybe the awful need to know how bad it really was. As I peeled back another layer, something slid loose and fell onto the table. Photographs. Old, curled, glossy. I picked one up with shaking hands. A young woman, smiling at the camera, alive, normal. On her wrist, the same tattoo. The next photo showed her bound, gagged, eyes wide with terror. The last was taken in a dim room, lit by harsh shadows. Figures in black robes stood over her body, faces hidden behind jackal masks, their hands wrapping her in linen with ritualistic care. Someone wrenched behind me. The air felt thick, unbreathable. Phones were forgotten, wine glasses untouched. Whatever thrill we chased was gone, replaced by a cold, sinking horror. This wasn't a relic. It wasn't history. It was evidence of a crime. I turned the final photo over. Scrawled on the back, in jagged, hurried handwriting, were 7 words that finally broke me. She was alive when we wrapped her.